Okay, today we're going to set up our Wi-Fi in Kali Linux for use with Aircrack later. And we need a USB Wi-Fi adapter that's Aircrack tested. Only to save yourself some headaches, unless you like sending adapters back that don't work. So when I say Aircrack tested, what I mean is on their site, they have a list of adapters that they've tested. Which means I don't have to go shopping more than once, hopefully. This is their list, and I'll put a link in the video below for this. Anything on this list has been used and should work without installing drivers on your host system, without installing drivers in Kali Linux. You should be able to just plug this in. It will not, for Mac users, say that it's Mac compatible. It has nothing to do with the Macintosh at all. Your Apple computer just needs to know that a USB device has been connected and you're going to pass it to Kali Linux and Kali will use it. The other key thing here is to read where it says TP-Link. Don't just stop and go buy a TP-Link. This says 722N version 1. Well, they don't make version 1 anymore. So you might find it used, but anything else TP-Link will probably fail to work because they changed the chipset after this. So if you see a 722N version 2 and you got to look on, it won't say what version it is when you look on Amazon. You have to actually look on the device. And since they don't make it anymore, you're going to get version 2, 3, 4 or something later than that. So I would leave this one alone, unless you already happen to own one. The Alpha series seems to always work. I have an NEH, which works fine. The H works fine. The NH, the NHA works fine. No drivers on Windows. If you install drivers on Windows, you're going to have problems passing it over to Kali. And the Mac won't know what it is anyway, so it won't matter. But you should not have to install any drivers. Okay, so there's your list when you go shopping. Let me minimize that. Now, before you start your Kali Linux, you want to make sure you've got your extension pack installed. So it's preferences, extensions, okay, that needs to be installed. If it's not there, you can go to the VirtualBox site and get it. It also enables full screen and other kinds of stuff that you're going to need when you're doing a virtual machine. Now you go to your settings of your virtual machine, and I'm going to remove this right now. Okay. You want to add a USB filter. If you don't have the extension pack installed, by the way, these options will be grayed out. If you want to get to USB 3, which is where you should be, this will only show up as a possibility to click on if you have the extension pack installed. If this is grayed out, you don't have the extension pack installed. Okay, so now what you want to do is, I'm using an Alpha NEH. I'm going to plug it in, and I'm going to add the filter. It should detect it. Now, there's a bunch of stuff here. The Alpha is going to show up as Raylink. It's not going to say Alpha. 802.11n. Okay, I'm going to click that. It's going to make a filter for me. I'm going to click OK. Now, just to be safe, unplug your USB Wi-Fi adapter. Okay? And then start your virtual machine. And you're going to wait for it to finish booting up. Any day now. All right. And then what you want to do is log in. Go away. start your terminal. Now if I do if config from here, it's going to fail because I'm not in a root terminal. So sudo su. Now if I do if config -a, boom. Okay, there's my bridged adapter that has an IP address on my host machine, and that's the loopback LO, not my Wi-Fi adapter. Okay, so now I'm going to plug it back in, let it beep. The USB icon on the bottom bar here will start blinking. And now when I do ifconfig, I have WLAN 0. Now I've already logged into my wireless network with this, so it's probably going to get an IP address in a few seconds here. See, there it is. So it's logged in. If it's the first time you're doing it, you want to go up to this little icon next to the time, and you should see Wi-Fi networks and whatever SSID your network is. Here's other networks around me if I wanted to connect to. But you would click on the name of the network you want to connect to. It's going to prompt you for the password, excuse me, for the network, and then give it a second, and it should log in if you do the right password, and it should give you an IP address. Now, the other thing you have to have, let me clear the screen, is you want to make sure that you've got VirtualBox guest editions installed, or this may not work either. So you might want to do mod info VBox guest, and you can see I have the guest editions installed also. So besides the extension pack, you have to have the guest editions. And Kali needs to be up to date before you put the guest editions in so it doesn't fail. Now, I'm not going to do an Aircrack lesson. I'm just going to real quick show you a better way to get your card into monitor mode. Monitor mode, for people who go, my internet stopped working, it's because monitor mode is just listening. There's no talking. There's no exchange. You're just listening. Now, some lessons have you do ifconfig and then bring the interface down. Then they have you do iwconfig, and lately that's been flaky. The best way to put this in monitor mode, so let me do ifconfig -a again. So you see it's listed as WLAN 0. Okay, if you're on a Linux box, your wireless could be labeled something else. And I have an IP address, so you know I can ping Google. I can get to the internet, I can browse. That's going to stop because I'm just going to listen to what's going on in the airwaves around me. So the best way to start this and have it work with all the other Aircrack utilities is do AIRMON airmon-ng start WLAN 0, or whatever the name of your interface is. Boom. It's going to think for a minute, and if, again, reading is important here. You don't want to see failures or anything like that. And now if you do clear screen, ifconfig -a, boom. It's been changed to WLAN 0 MON for monitor, okay? And my IP address is gone. Then I'm going to do AIRMON-NG to kill any processes that might interfere. Check. Kill. Okay. Clear the screen. Okay, so we're in monitor mode. We're in monitor mode, we have no IP address, and we've killed any processes that might interfere. And you got to remember, it will change the name of the interface for now. All right. So now let's see if we can listen to networks nearby. So we're going to do AIRODUMP-NG WLAN 0MON. Boom. And here we go. There's networks near me. And later on, you're going to worry about these power settings when you're trying to crack a network. Like this Linksys network here with the -70, that's horrible. Okay. The ones close by here are -32. So it depends on how close you are to other. I don't have a congested neighborhood, so there's not going to be a lot here. But if you're like in a city or a town, you may see hundreds of these. When you start attacking a particular router, you're going to be working with your ESSID, which is also called your SSID. And here's different devices talking. And then you can Control-C out of that. But there it is. It's working. It's in monitor mode. I wouldn't see any of this if I wasn't in monitor mode. So I clear the screen. And now, several ways. If it first comes up and you don't see any of that, unplug your adapter, plug it back in, and do all those commands again. Sometimes you got to kickstart it. To stop it, so that you get your internet back, there's two ways to go here. You can unplug it, plug it back in. But I would do AIRMON-NG, and the opposite of what we started with. Stop. WLAN 0MON. And it stopped it, right? So what did that do now? So ifconfig -A. WLAN 0 is back, and then we want to make sure we got an IP address back on there. So you want to do service network manager restart. RESTART. Okay, that time it restarted. Clear the screen. I'm not really disconnected. It's just it's reconnecting itself. It only takes a second. Okay, clear. And ifconfig -A, and you see I got an IP address. Clear the screen. And I got internet connectivity back. That's it. That's all you need to do to get your Wi-Fi adapter to connect to Kali Linux, and then put it in monitor mode to monitor Wi-Fi networks near you. So really the main thing to take from this is to get the Aircrack tested adapter and save yourself the headache. If you install Kali Linux on a hard drive, on the actual hardware, I'd still buy the card, even if you see your internal Wi-Fi adapter. You'll never, in a virtual machine, you're never going to see the Wi-Fi adapter, especially when you're going to bridge your internal adapter if it's connecting to the router. And even if you don't, you're not going to see it. So you need an external USB Wi-Fi adapter in a virtual machine. But let me get back to the hardware. Even if you see it, most internal Wi-Fi adapters either won't work in monitor mode, or they're going to be flaky at best. They'll work sometimes, sometimes they won't. And also the power levels will probably be dismal. You probably have to sit right next to the router you're trying to break into if it works. And that's not very stealthy. All right, enjoy. Good luck with what you're doing.